Yeah, yeah. MD, JPB. It's only right, baby.
Yeah, why you mad? I got a bad bro. Name hot in these streets, no Tabasco. But I'm so stubbed, that's a fact, yo. And if you think I'm frontin', you can run it back, yo. Go run it back.
You know that I run it. Everything you wanna do, I already done it. And I got your little boo telling me she love me. I got this one down, but damn, it's gonna be a long night.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Prince of This, and if you're new here, just want to let you know you can call me Prince since it is my actual name. Today, I am finally doing the next part, fourth part of What If Luffy Had Yuno's Powers. But before that, don't forget to like and subscribe, smash the like button, as well as hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all future videos. As for the second channel, I will be posting over there very soon, so those who have gone to go check out that channel, thank you, but also be patient. I will be posting there soon. I'm trying to limit myself, not trying to overwork again. I didn't like my burnout. Exactly, it doesn't exactly feel good. So go sub to the second channel if you haven't done that. The channel that I made with Dark King, pretty fun. And shout out to Crown Fiend for his video about ranking YouTubers. I know it's all subjective viewpoints, but I appreciate the love from him and his friends. So thank you for the video. Shout outs to you. You're the real GOAT, honestly. Thank you for calling me what you did. I really appreciate it, seriously. Alright, let's recap. In the last part, after promising to take care of Arlong, the Tempest pirates head to Arlong Park, where Zoro and Sanji would fight the other fishermen and win, and Luffy would kill Arlong personally. After this, the village is freed, with Nami joining the Tempest with a new tattoo. However, Yosaku and Johnny stay at Kokoyashi, planning to go back to their bounty hunting days, and soon the two groups would part ways. After going separate ways on their travel, Luffy finds that he has his whole face on his new poster, which also makes him now over 100 million berry worth. He's that famous now. He and everyone celebrate until they reach Reverse Mountain, and after damn near being killed by a giant sea king, which would be Labu, Luffy creates a wind barrier to protect them while they go inside him, obviously. Luffy also tried to heal Labu, but that's what caused them to be solo to begin with. Inside his stomach, they find Crocus, who is a doctor trying to save the whale, and they meet Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday, who after trying to shoot Labu from inside, are knocked out by Luffy after Crocus jumps in the way of their fire weapons, whatever they are. After this, Luffy heals Crocus, and Crocus brings them out, explaining in more depth why Labu keeps bashing his head against the reverse mountain. This soon ends with Luffy getting in a rage as he releases his haki and stops Labu after also smacking him with a giant wind hand. He promises Labu they will not die like his old friends and come back to visit, and this makes Labu cry and he stops hitting Reverse Mountain. Luffy then fully heals him and he gets a haki spell, and Crocus explains later, a few moments later, what haki is. Now we start this with the perspective of Miss Wednesday. As she opens her eyes, she finds that she is tied up. What the? Oh right, the Ripper. Zoro then kneels in front of her, and she is now scared, as Wednesday would then ask what they will do to her. Depends. Can you help with anything? Zoro would ask, and this is when Zoro was kicked by Sanji, who says, "Don't scare the lady. You bastard, stop getting in the way of everything." They would then start fighting, just as when they're about to clash, Zoro's sword and Sanji's leg are caught by Luffy. Enough already. Sanji, stop protecting the literal animal poachers. He then pushes them away from each other, just as Zoro says Sanji is insane, and Sanji says he cannot change who he is and his way of thinking. Nami then walks out from the dining room with Usopp following, as she just asks, "Oh, they woke up?" Luffy would then say one of them did. "So, Miss Wednesday, why did Crocodile tell you to do this?" Wednesday freezes, asking how he knew of them, and Luffy said that didn't matter right now. "I beg to differ," Wednesday would say. "We're a secret organization. How can you know so much about us?" Luffy, however, says nothing and would check his grimoire for something until he comes across a page that showed a picture of Wednesday. But clearly, she wasn't who she said she was. Luffy called everyone over, as they would then be shocked to see her name is actually Vivi. She's a princess. "What do we do?" Usopp would ask, and Luffy says, "I have an idea. Nami, use the logpost Crocus gave us. We're going to the home of Miss Wednesday." Wednesday would then think, they know something. Just my luck, I ended up being taken in by a pirate, even Crocodile fears. As they move forward, Luffy asks Wednesday to say where they live, and she actually tells him because she plans to watch people die while she and Igaram escape, because she doesn't really care about any of those people. After putting up the wind barrier, the crew would go through the harsh winters and wind, which is common in the Grand Line, but eventually they reach Whiskey Peak. And Luffy would say, "Whoa, that's a lot of cacti." They would then be nearing an island that looked to be made of cacti, and as they get closer, they are blinded by mist, and using this, Miss Wednesday cuts herself and Mr. 9 free. The Tempest then noticed this only to turn and see her run away on water, which is quite bizarre, but Luffy will say leave it. We'll be fine. Prepare yourselves. As the mist clears, the Tempests are expecting an attack, so they're on guard, only to see people from ashore cheering for them. Welcome to Whiskey Peak. The Grand Line be treating you nice? Sanji would then say, what the hell is this? It's a facade, Luffy would say. Play along, but be careful. As the crew soon lands, they are met by a man who calls himself Igarapoa, and the town welcomes them and parties with them. They are given booze, women, just a lot of fun. Usopp has his ego fed by women, as is Sanji. Nami and Zoro drink and drink, while Nami also makes bets and wins because she is a heavy drinker despite her demeanor, and Luffy just eats. As the party rages, however, he stays far away from all of it as he cannot stand the looks the women are giving him. Well, good thing is at least we'll get a good meal in before they get beaten up. When night falls and the Tempests fall asleep, Miss Monday and Mr. 9 and a bunch of other people will gather. Are you stupid? Yells Monday as she's trying to keep her voice low, trying not to wake up the Tempest, and Mr. 9 would say, I didn't know. You didn't realize you were bringing a monster to us? A bunch of them. Are you insane? That's the Ripper. He'll kill all of us. He doesn't even have a devil fruit, but everyone knows he will rip you to shreds. The other people are freaking out as well, and they're kind of blaming Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday. And this one, Mr. 9 says, hey, this isn't only my fault. Actually, yeah, where is Miss Wednesday? Actually, I haven't seen her for a while, someone would say, as Miss Monday, although mad, then asks if anyone has seen Igaram or Igarapoa, whatever the hell he calls himself. From a hidden place, Zoro would then smile, excited to fight all these people, and he's just waiting to sneak attack just as someone from above jumps down with the sword strike, only to have their head cut off by Zoro. As he does this, Zoro finds himself surrounded by everyone, as Monday and the others then run over to see him. Damn it, Monday would say, as a fight then commences, and Luffy will be out as well. He's not just laying around, and using his wind magic, he would look for Igarapoa and Miss Wednesday. Igarapoa and Wednesday would be hiding behind a house while talking. Are you sure about this? Igarapoa would ask, and Miss Wednesday would say, it's our best shot. Hey, what are we talking about? After the two hear this voice, they nervously look up to see Luffy looking down at them from the roof. Hi, Luffy would say. As for Zoro, despite the huge number of combatants going at him, defeating them all including Miss Wednesday was a cinch, as her strength pales in comparison to Zoro. So this is the best you guys can do. After beating up Miss Monday in a contest of strength, he would then let her fall and jump down from the roof and land, being more excited for any upcoming enemies. And this is when, out of nowhere, something flies towards him and he dodges, only for it to explode. He quickly gets out of the way and stops as he looks forward to see two people. Mr. 5 would speak. To think these weaklings lost to one single swordsman. Zoro would then take out two of his swords as he says, yeah, act tough now, but when Luffy comes, I bet that smell of yours is gonna disappear real quick. Hearing the very mention of Luffy's name causes Valentine and 5 to back away a bit nervously, and this allows Zoro to blitz them as he appears right behind them in the blink of an eye. Itoriu, Saikuru. Impossible, Valentine would say, as both her and 5 would burst with blood from their torsos and a huge gash would show. They fall over, losing a lot of blood, and feel something on the back of their necks, and it would be Zoro's swords. Who are you people? Baroque work agents, Luffy would say, as Zoro then turns to see him walking over with Igaram and Vivi. Luffy then says he can kill 5 and Valentine and instantly cuts off their heads before then swiping the blood off of his swords and sheathing the swords, my bad. So, what's their deal, he would ask, and Vivi and Igaram would be shocked seeing Mr. 5 and Valentine beaten so easily, and Igaram would think, so this is the power of his crew. We have a chance. Luffy then explained that he has struck a deal with the two. We're gonna go pay a visit at Alabasta and give Crocodile a knock at his door. Zoro then smiles excitedly. Finally, something interesting. Why? Why would you help us? Igaram would ask, and Luffy would then say, because I cannot stand Baroque works. I read up on Crocodile. To say he's a dick is an understatement. Well, I'm willing to do whatever is necessary, Vivi would say, if it means you'll help us. Then let's talk business. This is when Nami says this as she walks up, saying, I heard your little talk. You said anything, right? Vivi in this moment would gulp nervously, and then time passes. After waking up his crew, Luffy had everyone taken Vivi and Igaram and Igaram leaves on a separate, my bad, I messed that up. So they taken Vivi and Igaram wants to go on a separate way. Luffy told him he didn't need to, but he was dead set on it because first off, he thought he would slow them down, and second, he simply worries about Vivi and wants to even take a little bit of attention from Crocodile and Baroque Works to himself. So yeah. They took Vivi's bird with them as well, who was Karu, and they leave the island and it gets bombed, surprising them. He's insane, Usopp would say. That entire island, as he then sees the cacti burning up, and it's honestly just kind of annoying. See, like I said, he's a dick. Alright, let's go, Luffy would say. He then waves his hand and hits the sails, and they start moving, but Vivi is still worrying about Igaram. Sanji would then say, don't worry, I'm sure he's safe. Why don't you wait, I'll make you a cake or something. Yeah, sure, Vivi would say. Nami then says, oh, I should show you to your room. It's a bit small for a princess, but you weren't expecting much, right? As they head to the room, Vivi then asks, so you'll really help us just because of your captain's disdain? Look, I know this is hard to believe from a pirate, Nami would say, but don't think about it too much. Luffy tends to do this a lot. We just try to help. He is our captain after all. Vivi, although suspicious, would trust them for now. But the next day, her perception changes as she wakes up to find the crew drinking and messing about. Nami then walks up to her on the second floor asking, hey, want some? She would then offer Vivi a glass of, wine, and Vivi would ask, aren't you being too lax? This is a dangerous area in the Grand Line. Yeah, don't worry about it. That's what we have Luffy for. Vivi would then say, what? But Nami then says just not to worry about it, just as she hands her the glass, and Vivi takes it, and from below, the guys would then say hi, and they come up and introduce themselves properly because the last night was a bit crazy. And as they are, however, this is when a giant dolphin launches towards them, causing Vivi to panic. What are you doing? However, Luffy then simply snaps his fingers, forming a giant wind construct, which would just grab the confused dolphin by the face, before then slamming it back into the water. It was a giant wind hand. Stay in the sea, Luffy would say. Vivi is shocked at what she just saw, but now understands why everyone is so lax. After the barrier that she saw surrounding the huge ship as well, she thought that it was okay for the weather. She didn't think that Luffy could destroy Sea Kings. Luffy then takes out his grimoire and forms the wind barrier, to the amazement of Vivi, seeing it actually form before her eyes, and she would say, incredible. Luffy from down below then says, sorry about that, guys. I'll keep up the barrier from now on until we reach Little Garden. Usopp then says, yeah, good call. That thing was massive. I bet Vivi was pretty scared. That's what you took from that? Vivi would ask, and Usopp says, to a certain point, they've kind of been desensitized to most things because Luffy just does crazy things, but that's good because pretty much nothing scares them anymore. Lies, Zoro would say. You flinched when a bug landed on you yesterday. It shot out some weird gas thing, okay? Usopp would yell, and everyone then starts laughing just as Vivi realizes these people are truly not like other pirates. There's no way they concocted their whole fake personalities to just make her believe them. It was just too genuine. This puts a smile on her face as she then smiles, and she sees Karoo was even sleeping soundly. Yeah, we're gonna be fine, she would think. A few hours later, the group arrives at Little Garden, and as described in Luffy's grimoire, it is pretty big. Getting closer to the island, they passed through the forest while still in the water, and they could all just feel something wrong about this place as well. How the hell is this place little? Nami would exclaim, and this is when they hear a piercing sound as a giant bird would fly over their heads, making them jumpy and just startled, and they hear an explosion far off. The explosion of what sounds like a volcano, and then out of nowhere, a bloody dead tiger would crawl near the water before dying. This only gets Zoro excited, honestly. Meanwhile, Karoo would be freaking out, and Vivi wants to calm him down, but his instincts are just going crazy. Hey Luffy, Zoro would say, can you let down the barrier? I want to check something out. Are you crazy? Usopp would yell, and Zoro would then say, I thought you were going to become a brave warrior of the sea. Huh? After hearing this, Usopp would then stop before saying, yeah, I did say that, didn't I? Okay, let's go on an adventure. Maybe after your legs calm down, Luffy would say. Usopp would be shaking at his knees so hard, but he says he would try and calm down. Luffy also says the barrier will stay up and he would alter it. Alright, now the only ones who started in can come back, so you can leave, but be careful. Anyone want to join us? This is when Vivi says she'd love to come, making Karoo scared, but Luffy says it's okay, and they would then leave the barrier. As they do and walk out, it feels weird because they're passing through wind and the wind passed through them. Oh, wait, Sanji would say, make sure to get some stuff, I need to restock. He says this to Zoro, who would then say, fine, I'll do it since you can't do it yourself. Sanji gets mad at this statement, and Zoro feels the hairs on his neck stand, as he then turns to see Sanji, who says, the hell you say? You heard me. As Vivi rides on Karoo and follows Luffy, she then asks if it's fine to just leave them like that, and Luffy says, don't worry about it. A little competition's good between men. Come on. As the two continue to walk away, the two stare down each other, and Luffy and, well, his group go deeper and deeper into the jungle, and eventually Zoro will leave as well after his little stare down. As they are, Vivi is apparently more adventurous than Luffy expected, and he would point it out, asking, are you sure you're just a princess? Vivi is startled and says, what? What do you mean? I simply mean most nobles can't even stand the sight of a bug. You just seem very different. Vivi then calms down and says she's always kind of longed for adventure and a sort of freedom. It caused my dad a lot of problems though. As she laughs nervously, Luffy then says, yeah, I did the same to my grandpa. Vivi then asks, oh, what about your parents? Luffy then says he never met them and he was raised by his grandpa. He taught me how to be tough. You could say he's like my pseudo-dad, but that old bastard's still the biggest sadist I have ever met. Vivi then laughs with Luffy saying it really isn't that funny because, like he says it, his grandpa is kind of fucked up in the head. But then it starts to cause Luffy to start laughing, and as they are, Luffy is surprised that he can find a moment like this with a noble other than Sabo. She's not so bad, he would think. So they just keep going and check out the surroundings, but end up finding, what to their surprise, prehistoric animals, making Vivi realize this is a place that must be out of time, and it only makes this adventure more mysterious, but also creepy, but also exciting. And soon they also find a long-necked dinosaur, and despite at first thinking it wouldn't attack because it seemed like a herbivore only eating trees, it turns and notices them. Karoo freaks out, but Luffy says it's fine. If it bears even one fang, I'll cleave it. The dinosaur indeed turns and bares its fangs, not literally, but shows bloodlust, causing Luffy to swipe upward, and he forms a massive wind crescent that cuts it down in half before its sides would fall over, revealing its guts. Karoo then sighs in relief, as does Vivi, but then they feel the ground shake, and to their shock, a huge face would show up above them, revealing also a gigantic man with a bloodthirsty gaze, before then turning to a smile, as the giant would ask, "Hey, what are you little bugs doing down there?" Luffy senses no ill intent and says it's okay before then leaping into the air into Dory's shock, flying, as he would then say, "Are you a devil fruit user, my boy?" Luffy shakes his head saying, "I guess you could say like I'm like the giants, I was born this way." Dory is entertained by this and laughs, with it kind of disrupting the air, and it is certainly a loud and very unique laugh. "Let me invite you folks to my place." Luffy would then say, I forgot, I'm Luffy, that's Vivi the girl, and the bird is Karoo." Dory then plants his hand at his side saying, "I am Dory, Elbaf's strongest warrior." And as he laughs, Luffy's grimoire then flies out of his satchel and it flips to show a section on Elbaf, a land of giants. It's so huge. "Hey, can I hear about where you came from more?" And Dory says he's fine with it, and he invites them to his camp. Meanwhile, Groggy found Nami and Usopp and invited them to his camp, so they accepted. And they willingly walk out of the barrier. Stupid, but also, Groggy's pretty nice. And as they're at the camp, however, the two are horrified by the giant bones of the animal victims surrounding them. "You think it eats humans?" Usopp would ask, and Nami says, "No, you must be too young." Oh my god, I can't believe I'm saying this. We're doomed. Groggy then asks, "You okay, little missy?" And Nami then says she's fine, and asks instead, why are you here? I mean, I feel like a giant like yourself could be doing much more. You said you were Elbaf's strongest warrior, right? Groggy then laughs, saying that it's true, but I have some unfinished business. Back on Dory's side, he also starts talking about his fight with Groggy. "Due to an argument as per customs, we've stayed here and fighting to see the winner, but it's been 100 years and we still haven't figured out the winner." 100 years, Vivi would say? Why would you still want to keep fighting after that long? As she asked this, far off, Luffy sees a giant volcano erupt and Dory stands up taking his axe and shield, and then far off, Karoo, Vivi, and Luffy see a giant silhouette, and from his camp, the giant Dory walks out meeting his old friend, before then clashing as they both attack and block, and their attacks cause the ground to shake, and this makes Vivi fall to her butt. "They're both so huge," Vivi would yell, as Dory, to Vivi's shocked, and says, "Honestly, we forgot what we even started fighting over." Vivi is dumbfounded by this, as Nami then hears about this from Groggy as well, and she's also dumbfounded. But Luffy, more so Usopp, is just kind of into this battle. And Usopp is like obsessed about this battle, and his eyes light up remembering what he said he was going to be a great warrior of the sea, and that just keeps ringing in his head. Back at Luffy's side though, as the fight proceeds, he senses something as he disappears, but Vivi and Karoo are more concerned with the fight, so they do not notice him disappearing. Watching this fight will be Mr. 3 when he gets a wind blade at his throat. "Be quiet," Luffy would say. "Did Crocodile send you?" Mr. 3 would then nod slowly as to not get cut by the blade, as Luffy then dissipates it, telling him to turn around. As he does, Mr. 3 is terrified, and he would then take out a snail transponder, saying the boss wanted to talk to him. Luffy then takes the snail and activates it as it opens its eyes, and in this very moment, it perks up before then speaking in the voice of Crocodile. "Hello, Ripper." "So, decided to talk to me instead of sending your pathetic henchman?" Luffy would ask, and Crocodile, as he puffs a pipe from his cigarette, would then say, "I have no quarrels with you. Why don't we make a deal here?" Luffy raises an eyebrow to this, as Crocodile would then say, "A pirate much like yourself needs resources. You must need something. Billions of them. I can give you 1,000,000,000 berry." Luffy, however, cuts him off, saying, "No deal. I don't need to know you to know what you've done to Alabasta. When we meet, you're dead. Luffy then exudes the call of the Supreme King, and even on the other side, Crocodile would feel a chill run down his spine. He's fucking insane, Crocodile would think. He then tries to say something, but Luffy turns off the transponder and goes to give it back to Mr. 3, but then he sees he has passed out. And with a nervous laugh, Luffy then just puts the snail back in his pocket and starts walking away. I need to get this under control. He then looks at his grimoire and sees his hockey spell, and it is described just like how he gathers his magic, but instead it also focuses on the power of will, and more specifically, it needs for someone of Luffy's caliber to control his emotions better. That's when he'll become truly capable of controlling other forms of hockey. There are other forms, Luffy would think? As he thinks this, he then walks back to Vivi and Karoo, who then notice him coming back, asking if he went somewhere. Doesn't matter, but we should leave right now. Vivi then remembers this isn't just a fun journey and would agree, but they still don't have a lock post for Alabasta here. Luffy then says, oh, that's not why we stopped here. Like Sanji said, we're just restocking. Wait, what? Vivi would ask. And so to give a little context to why Vivi is kind of confused, she did mention about them needing a log post, and Luffy said he was going to take care of it. So when they landed, she thought that maybe that's why they were here. That's why they specifically stopped. But no, Luffy just figured out the place really fast. He just wanted to stop for stocking their fridge because he's a hungry man. Luffy hasn't changed in that aspect. Yeah, don't worry about it. This is one of the perks of being someone who can control the wind. Vivi then says okay, but Luffy himself doesn't realize that this ability to sense things like that is more spatial than actually nature-based. Like when he senses the presence of others, it's not just hockey, it's another source of power, but he'll figure it out very soon. So after the giants fight and the volcanoes go off, Luffy finds the others and they all gather, as Usopp would then say, Luffy, can we just wait a little longer? I'm onto something here. Luffy would then say, sorry, but we promised Vivi, remember? Usopp gets saddened by this, but Luffy says they can figure out something else, and then he gets an idea. He says to wait before them flying into the air and yelling for both giants, having been told Groggy's name by Nami, and Groggy and Dory then look up to see Luffy. The two giants are injured, so they stumble up to their feet, with Groggy asking if Dory knows this little man, and Dory would say, yeah. Luffy, what is it? Luffy then says, clearly you guys have some bad blood, but I think you should go back to being friends. You were friends before, right? Dory would then say, Luffy, even for you, I don't think I can do that. Luffy then smiles, saying he knows, and that is why he will create a special condition. If I manage to defeat the giant island garden, will you promise us to at least start talking again, like normal people? Groggy then laughs at this, saying, you're a fierce one, ain't ya? That thing ain't small, my boy. So you agree then? The two giants then yell yes, being interested, and from down below, Usopp then asks what Luffy's talking about. What's the island guardian? Vivi then says that it's a giant sea king that's known enough to eat anything who tries to leave this place. As she says this, they then all kind of feel and hear the waves crashing, with Luffy then meeting face to face with this gigantic creature, but they can't see it because Luffy's at the end of the other island. He has just gone there, and as Luffy faces this gigantic creature that dives at him, it also opens up its mouth, going to gobble him. Alright then, I'll get a little serious. As the fish nears him, Luffy then holds out his right hand, forming a wind blade, before then smiling as he infuses it with Haki unknowingly, and he swings upward just as the fish gobbles him. Dory gets worried, only for the giant sea king to be ripped in two to the shock of the two giants, and his two halves fall onto the sea, floating there and filling the water with its blood. Groggy is wide-eyed. Impossible. Dory himself, much like Groggy, realizes that if he wanted to, Luffy could just beat them both up and win and just stop this little rivalry, but he took it into consideration that they might not want to just be forced to talk like that, and also he could have gotten the lock pose, but he did it with such ease and a bit of consideration. Luffy then turns around asking them if they could at least honor his wish. Well, he would cross his arms, being kind of pompous, but he does, really want them to get together and be friends because they're just killing themselves at this point. The two Albathian warriors cannot help but smile as they say they will try, but they still want to fight. Honestly, I just don't want to lose at this point, Groggy would say. Dory would then say the same, and Luffy says that's fine because he can't just change a relationship that easily, but he's hoping they will meet again and the two will have at least somewhat reconciled. The two giants then nod, just as Luffy then flies down, and the two giants would also come over, bending down and asking where they were going next. And Vivi would then say, wait, what did you just do? We couldn't see anything. Two giants laugh, saying they will see it as they're going back on their journey. Cut to a few minutes later, Sanji and Zoro have returned to the ship with their spoils, which is a lot, but it was a tie, and they would just keep arguing and arguing. As they're leaving the island, the Tempests start to see blood creeping up in the waters and get freaked out until they find the giant sinking sea king cut in half. So that's what happened, Vivi would say. And Luffy says, yep, give him a quick snip. The ship passes by in between the cut fish, and Usopp throws up seeing its innards, and Sanji remarks that this thing is so huge they could take like a part of it and have leftovers for days. But Nami says, well, it's too big to preserve. Besides, it's creepy. As Nami says this, Vivi would then see her breathing heavily. She would see Nami breathing heavily and ask if she's okay. Nami then says she's fine and simply is flabbergasted from everything that's happened. Am I reading the log for a while? I need to sit down. Vivi then takes the log and sits down. Vivi then takes the log and she says she doesn't mind. However, this turns into a problem later. As they keep moving towards Alabasta, they don't need the log anymore. Luffy's guiding them. Zoro starts training harder than ever, using huge weights and swinging them. Usopp starts making new bullets, or I guess you could say whatever he uses, like little bombs, stuff like that. And he feels just inspired by the Elbaf giants. But Nami falls into sickness, and it turns out that she was bitten by some strange insect on the island, and Luffy did actually heal her, but he's not a doctor, so he doesn't know exactly what's going on. He can't get everything. When he heals someone like Kaya or Labu, it's obvious that their problem is very physical. Kaya just has no energy in her body and was weak, so Luffy empowered her. Labu was simply scarred, but even with the grimoire, it was super easy because it's very physical, it's easy. But with Nami's case, it requires more expertise, Luckily, they were still able to, navigate somehow because Luffy was there, and also because they had Vivi. Vivi decided to also put down their quests on hold, just put it on hold for now, to go find a doctor. Soon, they find themselves in a snow-filled area, but they had the wind barrier up, so it was fine. As Usopp then using his binoculars then looks ahead and says, "Hey guys, I see land." As he says this, Vivi then says that should be the Drum Kingdom, so they all just get happy, but Luffy senses something, when from below, shoots up a giant pirate ship that makes the sea just rock their ship. Luffy then says to ignore them because they can't get past the barrier anyway. Straight ahead, you got it, Usopp. Usopp then nods, and he keeps the ship moving forward and getting away from the other ship, and on Wappo's ship, as he's eating a sword, he would yell, "The hell's taking so long? Captain, I don't think we should do this today." And this is when an angered Wappo walks up and takes the binoculars, and he looks down at the ship. Moments later, he gags on his own food, and this noise causes Luffy to turn back and look at him. Oh shit, Wappo would think, as he then quickly hid under and fell to the freaking ground, just now covered in sweat. We're leaving right now. Wait, what about our supplies? Wappo would then yell, "Are you deaf, stupid, or both? This is the Ripper. He could split this whole ship if I looked at him wrong. I did look at him wrong. We'll get more things later." As this interaction happens, the Tempest near the island, seeing its bizarrely shaped mountains and snow-covered terrain. However, at the shore would be waiting villagers, stacked up with guns, and Vivi would think, this isn't good. "State your business," Dalton would say, as Luffy then jumps off the Mary and lands in the snow, making everyone cock their guns, but Luffy stays unfazed. "I'm not here for trouble. I need a doctor." Yeah, right, we're just supposed to believe someone with 100 million bounty on his head is just here for a doctor, nothing else? Why does the number matter? If I was any other pirate, I wouldn't have asked you for info. I would have forced it out of you, but I'm here, trying to reason with you. To their surprise, Luffy then gets on his knees and bows. "Please, she's burning up. I can't stop it anymore." The villagers then pull back their guns, and Dalton walks up, and Luffy slowly gets up. "Are you really him? I don't really care what you've heard of me." This is when Vivi interrupts, yelling, "Yes, he does," and Luffy tells her to shut up, before then embarrassedly looking back at Dalton, which makes the villagers, including Dalton, almost laugh. Luffy then says, "I don't know what you've heard about me, but all of that doesn't matter right now." Dalton then says okay and actually allows them to come in, with Luffy carrying out Nami while she is in a sleeping bag, and he also brings others with him, but Karoo and Zoro stay behind while Zoro trains in the cold. Along the way to the house, the Tempest feel the gaze of fear just surrounding them, and Luffy would say, "Ignore it. It's just a couple of stairs," Sanji would say. "It doesn't matter, Captain." Dalton then brings them to his own home, where Luffy lays down Nami, and Dalton checks her temperature, being shocked at how bad things have gotten. "If this lasts any longer, she may lose her life." Vivi would then say Luffy's been trying to keep her stable, but his powers mostly focus on cuts and poison and empowering the body, not things like this. "Well, what is it? What's happening to her?" Dalton would ask. Luffy would then say she was bitten by this, as he takes out his grimoire and turns it to Dalton, and he shows a bug on the island of Little Garden, and Luffy says it's not known out here, and it's only secluded to Little Garden, so that's why he's hoping a doctor here is good enough to treat something as foreign as this. "Well, there is someone, but she's rumored to be a witch." A few moments later, through the air, we find Luffy flying towards the mountain of the witch doctor. Midway, he looks at Nami, asking if she was okay, and she would say, "Yeah, don't worry about me." But that's the whole point of this, you know, Luffy would say, and this makes Nami laugh, making Luffy happy, but it also leads to her coughing, and Luffy would say, "It's okay, we're already here." He then lands atop the mountain and goes to the door, yelling and kicking for 5 minutes, but he knew no one was there. He just didn't know what to do. Once again, looking at Nami, he notices that she's sleeping, but also slightly shaking, despite Luffy's wind barrier being put on her. Luffy's wind barrier doesn't work as well for humans yet because it needs to cover specific parts correctly, and human bodies bend and just move, and as they move, the barrier would have to move with it, so it's very complex. For a ship, it's easier. It's just a sphere. That's it. If Haki can fortify, then it can also protect. Okay. He then closes his eyes and concentrates when his wind armor would then fall off, covering him with the transparent energy. Nami stops shaking and Luffy opens his eyes, happy that he had done it. Now I just have to wait. I wonder how long though. As hours and hours pass, Luffy soon finds himself running out of Haki because he hasn't trained it enough yet, so he focuses all of it on Nami. Soon Kureha comes up the mountain, and at her side is a reindeer with a blue nose with a pink hat that covers it and a human attire, but it's also on 4 legs. "Alright, let's get to work," Kureha would say, as Kureha and the reindeer, however, arrive to see a weird scene. Luffy turns to them with his skin having been shriveled up by the cold, and he would then say, "Took you long enough." The reindeer then freaks out before then running forward and transforming into a small human form and running to him. "You idiot, why did you bring her out here in the cold?" The cold? She's warm. Then how were you? He then looks up and gets a closer look at Luffy and freaks out, realizing who he is. His pupils disappear as he falls back in the snow, pissing off Kureha. "Well, come in, kid." Luffy then nods as Kureha then goes over and grabs Chopper before then opening the door of her warm home, and Luffy steps in. "Nice place." "Thanks," Kureha would say. And Luffy then says, "I should be thanking you." He then bows, saying that because of her, Nami will live. Kureha then smiles at this, saying that she likes him. A few more hours pass, and Chopper starts to regain consciousness, and when he opens his eyes, above him he finds Luffy. Chopper's jaw drops in shock as he's about to yell, only for Luffy to grab his mouth. Calm down. She's sleeping." Chopper then looks to see a resting Nami, and he calms down as Luffy then slowly takes off his hand. "You're a pirate, right?" Luffy then nods, asking who he was, and he would then say he's embarrassed and says, Tony Chopper, sir." "Huh? I'm like 17, you know." "Really?" Chopper would yell, and Luffy says, "Shh." Chopper then apologizes as he whispers, "Really?" Luffy then nods, saying he must have eaten the devil fruit or something, and Chopper nods as the two then start to talk, just as Kureha re-enters the room. "Having fun?" "Yeah, I mean, no," Chopper would say. "Just shut up." Kureha would then smack him on the head, telling him to calm down, making Luffy chuckle. "So Nami's gonna be okay, right?" Kureha then says she just needs a few days to rest. Luffy feels revealed, saying that he needs to go tell the others about it, and he stands up, but then he gets an idea as he looks at Chopper. "Are you a doctor?" "What, me?" Chopper would say, and Luffy then nods, and Chopper then freaks out, but Kureha says he's an excellent one, making Chopper blush as he says he doesn't really care and to shut up, but he clearly does care. "But a life on the sea isn't for everyone," Kureha would say. Chopper is confused by this, but soon gets it, saying he does not want to join Luffy's crew. "I'm just some stupid reindeer monster. Me and humans don't mix." He then runs away, making Luffy sad as he seems to have some issues to deal with on his own. I wanted to at least invite him on the ship. What a strange boy, Kureha would think. And he's considered the cold killer of the seas? I couldn't be more wrong. Back at the Straw Hat ship, everyone is just hanging out inside the barrier when Usopp yells that Luffy is approaching. Luffy then passes through the barrier and lands, and when everyone asks about Nami, he says she's gonna be okay. "And I might have found us a doctor." "Who is he?" Or she, because, you know. Luffy then says, "Yes, Sanji, I know, you're a little cuck. Well, not all of us can get lucky with a face like yours, Captain, but aside from that, you're quite vanity-filled." When did this become a fight, Vivi would think. Luffy then gets serious, saying that he's a reindeer who ate a devil fruit. "Is that a joke?" Usopp would ask, and Luffy says he's being serious, and he's apparently really good, like a really good doctor, so he's gonna try to make him at least come on a ship. So they wait until the next day, and by then Nami wakes up having been better than she has been in days. Luffy somehow convinces Chopper to come out with him to their ship. Along the streets of this unnamed country, well, it's named Drum Kingdom because Wapol is annoying as fuck and he doesn't really care, but the others consider it an named country. You get the point. Some people find themselves staring at Chopper, who while walking alongside Luffy just feels kind of out of place. Chopper hides his face by putting down his hat, only to show his weird hoof hands, and someone would whisper, "What is that?" Luffy at this point then gives this person a glare, and that stops him from mumbling as well as all the others, and then grabs Chopper. "Hey, what are you doing?" Chopper would yell as Luffy then puts him on his shoulder, saying, "You're one of us now, stop looking so down." "I didn't agree to anything." "But you agreed to come on our ship?" "It's called being considerate," Chopper would yell, and the two then start going back and forth, and soon Chopper notices that he doesn't even feel nervous as those glares are being drowned out by the laugh of a hysterical Luffy. Did he do that on purpose? Chopper would think. As they arrive on the ship and pass through the barrier, Chopper finds himself looking at everyone, including Nami, and they are surrounded by a buffet and just a bunch of drinks. Vivi, seeing Chopper, freaks out at how adorable he is and runs over, grabbing him and hugging him and saying that he's cute as a doll. Chopper, embarrassed by this comment, then says to stop lying, but Vivi says that she's not joking before then letting him down. The others then come over and say hi, thanking him for nursing Nami, and Sanji would say, "Come on before it gets cold. I made this for you." Chopper, while initially nervous, actually ends up enjoying himself, and everyone treats him more like they would have anyone, not like some monster, and they all have flaws. Sanji's a simp, Usopp's a coward, Nami's obsessed with money, Zoro got lost on their own ship, Luffy has a bit of vanity, and despite not being part of the crew, Vivi sometimes just acts before she thinks in a very bad way. They are honestly no better than he is, but they are not bad people, and Chopper gets along with Karoo since they're both animals. After the party, they all slept, not realizing how people had realized Luffy had driven away their unjust king, so they all gathered and talked about how beneficial this is and that Luffy doesn't even seem to give a damn about them. As long as, you don't mess with someone he's with or someone who he seems to care about, he leaves you alone. He could give less of a damn about your existence. He doesn't even care about you until you bother him. And honestly, Chopper is liking this group. So, will Chopper join the crew? Find out in the next part. It's been Prince of What Ifs. I hope you enjoyed. And that brings us to the end of the video. Welcome to the end of the video. Sorry I ended that kind of weird, but I hope you enjoyed everything that happened. I tried to make it a little funny with how Chopper is usually kind of anxiety filled, with how he's scared of how everyone thinks about him and he just can't take a compliment because he's not used to them. I tried to make that realistic. So, there you go. You're welcome. Now I will try to go and sleep because I haven't gotten proper rest since I came back. So there's also that. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. All of that I will post on the second channel soon. Goodbye, and I will see you next time. Peace.